long for? Where do we belong? These minefields laid out, sprayed out, got our wounds aching, wondering, waiting as steel binds and resurrects against the midnights, the breaking, the clacking. Need they remind themselves that the masses, that the drastic measure to body the metal, the absorption of the blows. See, they don't know, they forget. The unnamed forget the miracles birthed from the survival of millenniums, unearthed from the libraries of mortals. Wisdom locked away, grinding against the titanium, knowledge nine and the spirits breathing collective. Need I remind you? Let me tell you something about the ways them words hit those ears, the ways generations past wait patiently, caressing your spirit, belts into your conscience. Need I remind you that with you, I cannot exist without the we that they look to. The only survival sometimes carved out within four walls, the desiring of freedom rooted in truths and questions to answers to questions that we must mold and cultivate and eradicate the colonial indoctrination.
The Constitution abolished slavery except as a punishment for a crime. So you should be surprised by the school to prison pipeline. They reserve penitentiary beds based on third grade test scores, exploiting black bodies between these American shores. From the infancy of the country is nothing new. We must counter this conspiracy like Jawanza Kunjufu to destroy black boys, stun their minds and killing their spirits like thugs. Even in pre-K, they're attached to the school to prison pipeline like water plugs in an attempt to subdue their unbridled masculinity. The data confirms they're the public enemy. Number one, like Chuck D and Flavor Flav, they sense the onslaught, so they misbehave. Fostering their extinction is all the rage. Not only a pipeline, but a rocky road they pave. Restorative justice is what we crave. An endangered species we've endeavored to save. And simultaneously the land of the free and the home of the slave. Evidenced by the lack of resource allocation, in blatant violation of the creed of the nation, all are created equal, with right to life and liberty, the pursuit of happiness, not illiteracy, incarceration, homelessness, and poverty.
To belong means to ensure the safety of, to protect those by ensuring they learn. They are taught to protect I, that is you, that is we. To nurture themselves, to believe in themselves, to love themselves. So when they see themselves, they see you and I and the generations before and the generations after. The present world to which we all belong, yearning for more than ever now. To be reminded, to be cycled through the rebirths, to be reincarnated into that which cometh from the earth and the wisdom locked in minds looking to you. Your immovable strengths, purposes, passions, lives immortalized. Futures, sit, stand, play, write, read, dance, sing, in front, beside, next to, all of us. You've already been immortalized. They learn to belong to themselves because you remind them that they must create, recreate this world, collectively, authentically, unapologetically. You see, brass steel clock back wrapped around wrist, wrapped around ears, suffocating. That which is brought on by the imbalances of oppression, of hate, of fear. The immortalization of belonging to this new reality will only be brought about, must be brought about through the rebalancing, recultivating, reimagining of I, who is you, who is we. So where you finna be?
The school climate is human and stormy. Low expectation, lack of accreditation. Teachers burned out like incineration. Marvin Gaye sang of the inner city blues. Well, this is the inner city teaching blues. Lawmakers don't know which curriculum to use. Yet, without teachers, they choose. Principals operate with a short fuse. Kids scan like terror suspects. Too hungry to grasp literary concepts. Too blind to see axioms and postulates. Too deaf to hear quality in instruction. Too angry to reason with deduction. Counselors are at their wits' end. Communities and schools ain't friends. L slow to comprehend. Robotics and STEM are for those on the other end of the burrow. The neglect is thorough of the whole child. So they turn up